Hey everybody, just checking in on this Sunday. Lots of people sending me some messages about some autoimmune nightmares they're in right now. Just want to check in with everybody to see how everybody's doing. It seems that most of my people that are reaching out right now have some positive ANA markers, and they've got potentially lupus or Hashimoto's. Maybe you have an autoimmune situation that you've already been diagnosed with. Maybe you don't. It's the trickiest thing going right now when you have some autoimmune markers, but you don't know if you have a particular diagnosis. So that's really tricky. Having a lot of people ask me about just how to get started and how to turn this off and how to stop this. So lots and lots of people trying to understand like what autoimmunity is and if they have it and how bad that is. And a lot of people that are just feeling really exhausted. So I'm not sure if you're feeling particularly exhausted or if you have questions or if you want to know more about what's happening with you. Happy to help. If you have some autoimmune markers and you just feel exhausted, trying to find a diagnosis can be tricky. So that's something that I'm working with a lot of people about. How do we move forward? Like, what are the best next steps to be taking if you have autoimmune disease or if you have some autoimmune markers? What I find mostly are my patients are coming with positive ANA or they have questions about a positive ANA and they aren't bad enough for their doctor to take them very seriously. So that's tricky. We have autoimmune markers that can surface that medical doctors don't know what to do about. I mean, there's not a lot of training around that. And like, what do we do if we have autoimmune markers, but yet we don't have diagnosable disease? And what are we actually looking for, right? I think that we are trained to say, hey, I have an autoimmune disease, so therefore I have a condition that can be treated, therefore I'm safe, right? That's not necessarily true. I mean, we don't really want to be diagnosed with an autoimmune disease per se, but if you have autoimmune markers, we do want to investigate, right? So it's kind of akin to having a precancerous condition and then you don't really want to get the full blown thing, right? So that is, oh, thanks, Gwen. I keep forgetting to text everybody about that I'm live on TikTok. Um, so I just hopped on today because I've been getting a lot of people that are really having a lot of pain in their body and they're feeling really exhausted. Their joints hurt. They don't feel good. They don't know what to do. So they want some strategies. Now I'm about 2 weeks out on releasing a course that I've built. It's like little 13 modules that you can purchase that you can listen to all the basics about autoimmunity, what to do, how to get started, what are the next steps. Then I'm doing an autoimmune support group on Fridays. So then you can pop in and do Q&A, ask me questions. I'm offering up, one-to-ones, things like that, just trying to figure out how to get people started. So that's going to be launching in the next 2 weeks. We're working really hard to get all those videos ready to roll. So I want you guys to understand from A to Z how to get started, what to do first, what should you eat, because everything affects autoimmunity. It's your sleep, it's your protein levels, it's your blood sugar, it's your vitamin D status, it's what you're exposed to viruses. If you get the flu, if you get COVID, if you just get the common cold, all of these things can rev you up and get you really flared up and get your immune system really upset. So if your immune system, its purpose is to like be surveying the scene and trying to find bacteria and viruses. But for some reason, your immune system is attacking you. Okay. So, and then we want to figure out like, well, why? Why would that even happen? And there's a lot of reasons why. A really interesting thing that happened with COVID is that that virus got into our tissues. And your immune system is like, listen, I know it's there. It's in the thyroid, it's in the joints, and the immune system is attacking, and is not relenting. And so then all of a sudden you're getting your own joint destruction. So that's pretty scary, right? So there's a lot of people that died from COVID. There's a lot of people that got autoimmune diseases that got triggered by COVID. Now, I have some of my patients has gotten triggered with their rheumatoid arthritis got triggered by the COVID vaccine, which is interesting. So it's kind of a really anything that's going to flare you up. So if you have autoimmune conditions and you have autoimmune, like you have lupus or you have rheumatoid arthritis, and even if you go get a vaccine, it's going to stimulate your immune system to do something, right? So you have to think of, listen, this is driving my immune system. So I'm not only going to just make antibodies toward this flu vaccine I got, I'm going to also attack myself. So these are the things that are interesting that can happen. When you are not sleeping, that's a big deal too. Your body can't rest and recover. You can't feel better. You aren't eating enough protein. How about that? That's blood sugar is a big deal. Fast when the blood sugar gets up and down, or you have prediabetes, that can be an autoimmune trigger too. So, yes, everybody's kind of hoping for answers. And this is the tricky part about autoimmunity is that you can get an autoimmune marker. You can feel terrible and you don't necessarily have a diagnosable disease, right? They're like, well, you don't have lupus, you don't have rheumatoid arthritis, but like you're in this really weird gray zone, right? Where you have markers that are positive and you're marching towards something, but nobody's giving you any signposts along the way to say, go this way, do this, change your course, right? So that's what I'm doing is I'm trying to set up a space in the middle from when you have pain, when you might have autoimmune markers, to when you get full diagnosed disease. Now, I don't want you to get to the point where you have full blown anything. I mean, that's the real goal here, right? So we'd like to turn this around before you develop anything full blown. If you have something full blown, if you have full lupus, if you have full blown rheumatoid arthritis, we need to put some strategies together to try to calm it down, right? So what are we going to do around that? So number one, I want you to all get on vitamin D. Vitamin D. Please, can we do vitamin D? 5,000 IUs every day. Please, let's get you 5,000 IUs of vitamin D every day and take it every day. Okay, so someone had a vaccine and body has a lot of pain. Yeah, your immune system can be like attacking things, but even if you're ANA negative, you can still have an autoimmune disease for sure. So it's not all autoimmune positive. So we've got Lyme. Lyme can trigger it. Mold can trigger it. Anything that's going to trigger your immune system, right? Systemic sclerosis. Yes, that's one that's really can be aggressive and can make some sclerosing, kind of like some fibrous stuff in the lungs and in the heart and in the soft tissues and in the joints and those types of things. Whatever autoimmune condition, it's under an umbrella of autoimmunity. I don't care if it's attacking your big toe, if it's attacking your thyroid, if it's attacking your joints, if it's lupus. I'm putting together strategies for the immune system to calm down. That's the goal, is to try to get it to calm down. So, antiphospholipid syndrome panel. So antiphospholipid syndrome usually has to do with clotting. So you could be clotting. Sometimes this connects with people who've had miscarriages even, or you've had clots. It's usually a platelet type thing. So it's something to be, concerned about and really dig into. If you have that, we want to think about, how do we get the platelets to calm down, right? Are you on a medication? Are you not? I'm bringing forward functional medicine strategies that are going to be tailored well and work and play well with any medication or any doctor's advice. This is just, we're braiding in functional medicine strategies to make your diagnosis like calm down. It doesn't matter what autoimmune situation you have, and it doesn't matter what kind of treatment you're getting. This is what we're doing, is trying to, these are the things that all of you need to be doing. So we've got, you have Hashimoto's. Okay, no meds. Yeah. So you have Hashimoto's. Great question. So Hashimoto's, your immune system is attacking your thyroid. You can have positive antibodies. You can have positive thyroid peroxidase. Okay, that's TPO. Doesn't mean that your thyroid's not still working well. If your thyroid numbers are fine, you might not need medication, but we certainly should try to calm this attack down, right? And that's the whole thing I'm putting forward with this program in the next couple of weeks. I hope it's ready. It's so close. We've been grinding, trying to get it done. So good. And some dermatomyositis, that's a really big condition. And for 5 years off meds, great. That's awesome. But also we need to make sure that we have, maybe she needs to stay on some turmeric. Maybe she needs to stay on fish oils. She certainly needs to be on vitamin D. She should also be on glutathione. Glutathione is amazing. It's this immune system modulator. It calms the immune system down. And so does vitamin D. So there is so many things. So lots of things happening. And yes, yes, so there's, this is the thing. You get these markers and should I be worried, right? This is always the question. So this is why I want to empower you guys with so much information so that you can know what supplements to take. You can know what diets are best. There's going to be some downloadables in my website and some resources that you can print off and say, here to your doctor, these are the labs I want to get. And then downloadables that say, this is what your labs mean. Okay, so this is what I'm building right now. And I'm hoping it's going to be done in the next couple of weeks. I was hoping it's to be done by Halloween, but maybe my birthday, because that's the 8th of November. So I'm hoping it's going to be ready for my birthday. So we're hoping that this is going to move forward. Okay, so quickly, so you guys can get all this in your hands, and then you can have action steps. And then when you talk to me, I'm saying, look at week 1. Remember, we were talking about blood sugar and balancing your blood sugar. Look at week 2. Remember, we're talking about vitamin D, right? We need vitamin D. Do you have glutathione? It's going to have links to all the supplements that you need. It's going to have resources. It's going to have downloadables. It's going to have once a week on Fridays, we're going to do a Zoom. So you can pop on a Zoom. You can ask me questions. And I'm creating a community. I want a community of all of us being able to meet together on a Friday, have questions, share wins, what's working for people, what diets are working for people, what strategies are working for people. So this is what I want to create. I'm very, very passionate about creating a community of people who have autoimmunity, who can give each other support. And then you can go, gosh, everybody is going through the same thing, right? Like, oh my gosh, that helped for this person, or it was sleep, or just a little bit of exercise really helped. Vitamin D helped, glutathione helped, all the things. We're going to be talking about leaky gut. We're going to be talking about chronic infections. Do you have Epstein-Barr? Do you have Lyme? All these things, like, how do we know? How do we know what to do next, right? And I know that this is why I'm building this whole program, because I really want you guys to know. I want you to be empowered and go, I know what this means. I got a cold and my autoimmunity flared up, so I'm going to do these particular supplements to calm it down. That's the stuff I want you to know. You need to be armed, because I'll tell you, I went to a functional medicine conference this past weekend. They call them the Thought Leaders Consortium, and it's it's full of PhDs and MDs that all really are very passionate about functional medicine. And it was all about autoimmunity, toxins, how we're going to change healthcare, how we're going to turn this around, how do we calm down autoimmunity, because autoimmunity is just exploding. And I'll tell you, they're just getting there. And these are out on the fringe MDs are just getting there. I mean, I've been doing this for about 15 years. So I've been in the trenches with this for a long time. I have positive autoimmune markers. So does my daughter. It's driven me to figure out a whole plan on how to calm this down. But they're finally recognizing that autoimmunity is a big deal. They're finally recognizing that vitamin D is a big deal, that chronic viral infections is a big deal. So I know that a lot of you have been gaslit for a while, where you go, but I feel terrible and my autoimmune markers are positive. What do I have? The problem is the medical doctors are like, I don't know. Or you're probably not sick because I know everything. I mean, there's that too, right? So the medical doctors don't know everything. And we are expecting them to know a lot of things, and they don't know enough, right? So lots of people frustrated. So yeah, I have lots of people talking here. So no one has told me anything. Yeah, everything is fine. Yeah, no, you're not okay. Yeah, this is the thing, is you're not okay, and we're going to try to figure this out, right? So lots of different lab markers, ANA, speckled pattern. So 1 in 160. Remember, okay, ANA starts, the first positive is 1 in 40, and then it goes 1 in 80, then 1 in 160, then 1 in 320, then 1 in 640. It doubles, right? It goes all the way up into the thousands. So that gives me a little bit more idea of how active your immune system is on like this attacking, right? So that's important for us to know. So 1 in 160 speckled. It's not super high. It depends on what your symptoms are. Here's the thing you do when you get a positive ANA. You ask for an ANA cascade. That can be done through Quest or LabCorp. ANA cascade. And what they do is they test specific markers, tissues beyond that, right? They test all the different tissues. So then you can figure out what's going on. So hold on, you guys. oops, sorry, just a second here. Someone was texting me about my son who actually needs an antibiotic. So he's boy, the 24-year-olds that don't really brush their teeth enough, right? I mean, come on, let's get this done. Do any of you guys have kids that aren't taking care of their health very well? That's what I'm dealing with right now. It's not bad. Okay. Okay, yes. Sorry about that. Yes, please send. Date of birth. Sorry, you guys. I'm just giving him my son's date of birth. I have a really cool pediatrician who still treats my son at 24, who's a friend of mine. So thankful. Anyway, so infections. I mean, even dental infections, right? I mean, like my son who's got this, he needs a root canal. Oh my God. So what do we do with that, right? I mean, you've got infection down in the tooth, you've got it in the gum, you've got it in the roots, and that's a real problem because that can go systemic, right? And your immune system is just trying to, yes, we do. Your immune system is just trying to fight an infection, but sorry, you guys, Target, CVS, sorry, in Scotts Valley. Sorry about that. Okay, so handling children. Does any of you guys have to handle your children even when they're in their 20s? Me too. So we have to think about your immune system is targeting your tissue. Why? So there's some interesting stuff about food. Food proteins are really interesting. So we've got gluten and dairy are interesting. They have proteins that look really similar to the tissues of our body. It's called molecular mimicry. Isn't that weird? And so some people, no problem. Some people will eat gluten and dairy and have bad reactions to them. Their immune system's like, I don't like this. And so your immune system goes, hey, I'm exposed to gluten. And also, that kind of looks like my thyroid too. So I'm going to attack the gluten and I'm going to attack my thyroid at the same time. It's very strange how you can have some food proteins can look like our own body, which is strange. Some people who have autoimmunity have leaky gut. Have you guys heard of leaky gut before? Or do you guys have gut issues? Do you have bloating? There's a lot of people that have gut issues, or you have food issues that make your gut like bloated after you eat food. And that can be a problem. It can cause leaky gut. So your gut is supposed to be sealed, but the gut actually gets a little bit unsealed. And then all of a sudden, food proteins are going through and going into your bloodstream. And then your immune system gets really upset about that. So it's attacking all this food, but then it goes, hey, wait a second, I'm actually attacking her joints too. So I'm going to do that too. So you have these weird cross reactivity things where food can like trigger a reaction, right? So that's something that can happen to most of my patients have that. So gastrointestinal problems. So you can have heartburn, you aren't digesting food right, you get bloated after food. You know, some people have like issues with like they eat food and then they have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, like over in the small intestine. And then you have like those bacteria actually eat the food that you're eating and then they bloat you like crazy. So people have like food babies after they eat. Do you guys have food babies? So peanut butter, yeah, that can be an issue too. Speckled pattern. Okay, your speckled pattern is 1 in 1280. That's getting a little up there. That's making me a little bit nervous. How are you feeling? Are your joints hurting? Like what's happening? So lots of people having a lot of issues with, when their ANA gets high enough, you can really feel like it's a real problem, right? You can really feel like a lot of pain, right? So I'm concerned about that. Like, I want you to think about like, what is it that you thought triggered this? Like, what do we feel like triggers this? Like, did you have a baby, or did you get super stressed, or were you not sleeping, or did you get exposed to something toxic? I mean, that can happen too, right? Lots of things can happen with triggers. Some of it can be genetic too, right? You can have genetic triggers. Usually this runs on the female side. So there's, 85% of autoimmunity is on the female side. So yeah. Someone who doesn't have autoimmune but feels like pains and has some mold exposure. Mold's a big deal. So, if you got moved out of the house that you feel like has a lot of mold in it? Um, so yeah, that is a big deal. So I hope that you guys can figure out something to start calming all this down. Are you guys tired? Are you exhausted? Like, what are you feeling? Are you feeling joint pain? I mean, these are things that a lot of my people are feeling. Sometimes you can have even periodic fevers, right? You guys feel like that too? Oh, postpartum, huge stress. Yeah, that's a trigger. Huge. Now, interesting. Someone says they have a DFS pattern. So, dense-fine speckled pattern is N negative, dsDNA. Oh, wait, ENA negative and dsDNA positive. That's tricky. That's unpredictable. That's interesting. Usually dsDNA, DFS doesn't go to lupus, but then you have a positive dsDNA that could go to lupus. So you know what I would do with that is I would get an AVISE test, AVISE. I run it in my office. If you need that test, you can always DM me and I can get my office staff to run it for you. It's the most specific test for all the different tissues involved in all of the things that you could possibly have. It's really detailed. That'd be a good one. So, yep, moved, working on meditation. Love this. Yes, of course. That's what we need. We have to move out of moldy houses. Even remediation of moldy houses, you can really try to do a lot of stuff with it, but it's really hard. And I tell you, it's hard. It's hard tonight if you've been sensitive for it for a long time. Even a little bit of mold can really trigger you, right? Now, fatigue, joint pain, swelling, hair loss. Okay, let's talk about hair loss. Should we talk about hair loss? Lots of reasons why you can have hair loss. So we've got thyroid issues, right? That's what everyone thinks about. Low protein levels. So if you're not eating enough protein, how much protein are you guys eating? That can cause hair loss. You need to be, shooting really for 100 grams a day minimum. And then I would say 1 gram per pound of body weight, which feels like a lot, but we need a lot. So we've got, if you have prediabetes or blood sugar swings up and down, that can cause hair loss. Iron anemia can cause hair loss. So not having enough iron. What else am I thinking of? Those are kind of the top four. Sometimes infections can cause a little big shedding of hair loss. COVID was causing hair loss. That was pretty crazy. Intermittent low fevers, ivermectin over a month seem to kick it. Yeah. So intermittent, you know what? With autoimmunity, you will get intermittent fevers. And sometimes you'll just have it's like weird. You're like, I'm at 100 degrees. What the heck why am I not 98 degrees? It's very strange. So it's that intermittent fevers is pretty common. Now, also we have a lot of people that braided in with autoimmunity is POTS, right? So postural orthostatic hypotension. So that's something that can happen. We've got MCAS, which is we've got hives, that can happen. All this started coming around it's been around, but COVID really made this blow up. And now we're like, oh my gosh, what are we doing with all these symptoms? Ferritin. Okay, ferritin, that's stored iron. Okay, so ferritin is tricky. Do you have probably have low ferritin. So low ferritin means that have you gone through a period of time where you had low iron or you had a lot of bleeding, you had a lot of blood loss maybe? So iron levels, you can take some iron, but you have to be careful. You can't take too much. You have to kind of look at your blood levels and see what your iron levels look like. But there's something called anemia of chronic inflammation. So if you're chronically inflamed, like if you just have my joints are always hurting, I'm always chronically inflamed, and my CRP is a little high, then what can happen is you can have iron floating around in the system, but it doesn't attach and get stored as ferritin. So a few things you can do. My favorite iron supplement is by a company called Thorne. It's called Ferrosorb. It's got iron and B12, vitamin C, is it B6 maybe? Has all those in there. So that's helpful. But also I need you to be eating meat or more protein. Hey, you guys, hold on a second. I need to, you know what? I'm going to hop off this live because I have to call my pediatrician to get my son his antibiotic, but I'm going to hop right back on in 5 minutes. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm going to hop off real quick and I'll hop right back on.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, so